course, for our next recipe, we're going to be doing something that's very, very traditional in Italy called
Panforte.
Panforte. So you call it Panforte. You say it the French way. Panforte. Of course, in Greece they have versions of this, but the traditional Panforte has its history really in Siena, which is in Tuscany, so dates back to the 13th century. Of course, the predecessor of this was pan pepato, which was peppered bread.
Peppered one, yes.
But we always talk about the spices which were very, very important at this time in Italy because of the trading, as you know.
Right, yes.
And Panforte, it's an interesting thing because they have the famous Palio race in Siena, and they say that the traditional Panforte should contain 17 ingredients, which refers to the 17 contrade or districts that race in the Palio. So that's really beautiful. You don't have to have 17, of course, ingredients, but that is the history, and it's a beautiful thing. And it is basically Panforte translated meaning strong bread.
That's right, yes.
It's a strong bread, and it is quite a skill. You can use the rice paper, correct?
Rice paper, yes. So there's no flour in this one as well.
No flour. So it's a really good one if you have gluten allergies. So let's jump into the kitchen and let Para show us exactly how this is done.
For our Panforte, which is a spiced fruit and nut cake, we need 400 grams of nuts, almonds and hazelnuts. Have your preheated oven at about 180, about 5 minutes or so, depending on your oven. And just roast them lightly. Once you've roasted your nuts and they've cooled down, just chop them up roughly. I'd like them quite chunky in the actual cake. It's nice to bite into a nice chunky piece of nut. When you cut up all our candy fruit, which is candied sugared fruit, you can't use dry fruit, but the candied fruit, it's just a nicer taste. So again, even with your fruit, nice chunky pieces, you don't want them too fine. So we'll do all of them, the pineapples, the apricots, figs, pears. You can use dates, you can use any fruit you really prefer. It's up to you. I've used a combination of red and green cherries as well, just for the festive season. But just, you can omit the cherries, you can add mangoes are nice. It's endless. We're going to line up our rings. A little bit of grease on your tray, that way the paper won't move. So some silicone paper onto your tray and just pat it down. Nice low rings. Some people do it higher. Traditionally it's nice and low. So when you put some rice paper on the base of our rings, so we need a few sheets of rice paper, just like so. Don't worry about the edges, we'll trim them down later. There's two sides of the rice paper. There's a smooth side and there's a more of a crinkly side. The smooth side will be on the bottom. The next thing is we're going to spray the edge of our ring so we can put some rice paper on the sides. Do that away from your tray. Just slightly, just so our rice paper can stick to the sides. We're going to cut them in strips and just go around the ring. Our rings are ready with the rice paper on the base and the sides. Okay, the next step is when you melt our chocolate, not boiling water, just simmering water. We'll place our bowl over our bain-marie and we'll just leave it there. You can also melt chocolate in the microwave for a few minutes if you don't want to do it the bain-marie way. That's also quite quick and efficient. Okay, our chocolate has melted. Didn't take very long at all. We're going to move this aside. We're going to get our honey, mix that up with sugar, stir it a little bit together. All the sugar you see on the side of the pot, we need to wash that down with a little bit of water, otherwise it will crystallise our mixture. So put it on the stove, have a little bit of water, cold water, and just wash down all that sugar and honey which is on the side. So once it's on the heat, we don't stir it again. So now I've got my sugar thermometer in the honey and sugar solution. We'll bring it at 115, really crucial. Don't have your heat again too high. We don't want to colour it too much. 115, and we take it off the heat. What I've done, I've put my cocoa powder, my cinnamon, grounded cloves, nutmeg, coriander, and ground pepper. That's optional, in one bowl. for our Panforte. Okay, the next thing, get yourself a bigger bowl, and we're going to combine all these 4 ingredients together. So all the nuts in, all your glacé in, got a spoon, all in. Your spices with your flour, I like to sift them all together. All right, all in the one bowl. Our sugar and honey solution has reached 115. We pour that into our mixture. Scrape it all out. And we must work very quickly here because it will set very quickly. We have our chocolate. Add our chocolate. Nice and rich. You must work very quickly as your toffee mixture will start setting on you and make it too difficult. Place it onto the rice paper on each ring. When you make Panforte, it's so beautiful, you might as well make 2. There's 2 ways you can actually push down your Panforte. You can put a little bit of oil on your hands and just pat it down, or grease a palette knife lightly with some vegetable oil and just push it down. Our oven is set at 150. Now, the Panforte is a type of nougat, but you like it nice and chewy. You don't want it too hard. So between 25 and 30 minutes, you want it to be quite a sort of sticky still in the centre, not overly baked. So we'll be watching it carefully. So nice and smooth, spreading it down. 22 minutes, we're going to check our Panforte to see whether they're ready. Oh, nice and hot in the centre. A little bit soft in the centre, that's how I'd like it. So 22 minutes in this oven, it was ideal. So once they've cooled down, I'll show you how to actually trim the extra rice paper. We're just going to cut them down. They have to be cool. Remove the rings while they're still warm. This excess rice paper, just with scissors. Now rice paper, it's actually edible, it melts in your mouth. Finished off completely, place it onto your tray and just dust it with a lot of nice ice and sugar.
A lot of viewers, of course, Panforte either ask for coffee or it asks for vin santo or something on the side, yes?
Oh, yes.
All right, because
well.
it's quite a rich thing. You only need to have a small amount because it's absolutely so rich.
It is rich, but it's worth having though.
It's worth having, isn't it? All right. Oh my gosh, you can go on,
try one.
Mamma mia, mamma mia. Let's just. How many calories is in this?
Oh,
Pat?
this is good for you. This is good for you.